Like,
Well,
why?
I think they'll hug me. I'm scared to dress that.
And we
rather
I mean,
than-
it depends on the
Yes.
kids show, I think.
Hello, everybody. We're live. We're
Peppa
talking
Pig
about
is pretty
cult
terrifying.
related
Yeah, it's 7 feet tall.
That's
we
just
are
because of the
live.
English accent, though.
Curtis
It
is gonna
it
murder
really
us.
is. And they're pink, and I don't like it. The
I
way
was
their
always
mouths
scared
go,
of Barney.
I don't like it.
I was
Ooh.
about to
Barney
say,
and Colt, and I'll poop myself.
Dr. Ernest Kennedy will be played by Margaret Catwood tonight.
Yay.
I won't murder anybody. I'll do that in the game if that's what I have to
Please
do.
don't.
So
Oh,
that's
no.
Please
all good.
don't.
Very
I'm
convincing.
about to murder OBS because it's got a little indicator light down there, and it's supposed to be green, and it keeps going from green to red, then back to green, and staying green for a while, and it keeps flashing to red, which
Nope.
makes me nervous. I don't like it when it does that. So if
Probably fine.
something gets twitchy tonight, don't
Twitchy
anybody
on
panic.
Twitch.
Mine for a second.
Drives me nuts. But that's okay. Hello, everybody.
Sorry.
That's all right. Yes, great conversation. Welcome to tonight's presentation of Manhattan, the Enlightened episodes. The game we are playing is KULT Divinity Lost by Helmgast. I'm Curtis, old Curtis VO on the Twitter, and thanks, Chris, for pointing out that I had my shit all locked down. I had not even realized that.
Serious? I thought you had it that way on purpose for some
No,
reason.
I mean, maybe I did in the beginning for some strange reason, but I, set it and forget it. Old Curtis VO on Twitter, and now unlocked. You can find me and be my friend. And
I was about to say, did you have like 300 follow requests?
No, nobody wants to follow me. I think there was like 3, and one of them was like my great grandmother from like 4 years ago, and so
I wanted to follow you. You followed me.
there's a few on there, but yeah, no request tonight. Maybe tomorrow I'll be flooded with them. But that's where you can find me, and I am the game master for tonight's story. Tonight is our 4th of 5 epilogue stories about each of our characters you see in front of you, who have all reached the enlightened stage of their awakening in the game of KULT Divinity Lost. In our first 2 episodes, Dr. Kennedy and Joel secured a home fortress and some demonic slaves, and put their group of enlightened companions in a strong position to handle whatever might come next, which last week happened to be a twist in Harvey's theater acting career. But now Harvey has Malkuth's key, even though he's not quite sure what to do with it. And once again, power has shifted in Manhattan. This power struggle spills all the way down to the streets that Sasha used to call home. Before we begin, I'd like to thank all of you out there live on Twitch and later on YouTube. You are all the real reason that we do this. When I say we, I'm talking about, I know this group that is with me here on your screen, and many of the others that play in our games at Tabletop Roleplay. We are a group of actors, artists, writers, professional gamers, professional DMs, all who love to nerd out on role-playing games, and we really love an audience. So welcome to our theater. Let's meet the players. I believe we'll start with Sasha this week.
Hi, my name is Duke. I'm playing Sasha the Nocturnal.
Hello, I am Krista. I am playing Blythe, the angel.
Hello, my name is Margaret Catwood, and I am playing Dr. Ernest Kennedy, the magician.
And I'm Erica, and I'm playing Joel. The
Oh
hag.
man, she's so cute.
So fluff.
Sorry, that one really got me.
No, it's all right. Chris is trying to build up our side business of streaming cats playing tabletop roleplay. It's going to be awesome.
Is that a thing? Can we actually do that?
You never know.
Get enough cats in the world, we can do anything.
There he is.
That leaves us with the Harvey.
Oh well, this is below me is Erica.
Well, she said it, but she
I
kind of
said
it. I
giggled
was
all
laughing. I
she
didn't
giggled
hear
all the
it.
way through it.
Hello,
fine.
I'm Jaylee, and I play
Fine.
Harvey, the Chosen.
Oh, thank you, players.
Awkward pause.
And let's begin tonight's episode. Potentia Noctis.
Here have an argument about him.
Okay, everybody
But
get
when
their
he
cats
can't
on
hear
screen.
us, we're yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you then, but I
Right.
can hear you now
Oh,
because
man.
we are live.
Live.
Yeah. Once I switch your mics, that used to be my problem in the beginning. Remember in those original days when we were streaming and
Yes.
it would be like 5 or 10 minutes in and somebody over in Twitch chat would go, we can't hear you.
We can't hear anyone but Curtis.
It used to be me just screaming and spamming as fast as I could.
Yeah, I could hear you because I hadn't done the thing that I now remember to do every time.
The post-it notes finally worked.
Yeah,
The 10,000.
for sure. It's fabulous. We are back.
The role of Blythe will also be played by Binks the Black Cat.
Binks the Black Cat. There we go. Blythe is being played by Binks the Black Cat. And
We're
there's
gender
Margaret
swapping the
Catwood.
roles tonight.
It's
That's
very
fine.
progressive.
Curtis already has a problem with that.
No.
Wow! Calling him out.
I think he only did it once in the last episode.
Oh, shots fired.
What did I do?
He's making the effort.
Yes, thank you, Curtis. Happy birthday. We love you.
Oh.
Thank
We
you
can't
for putting
roast you today.
up with us. Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome back. We are back. What was I talking about? Oh, the power struggle in Manhattan has been in considerable flux lately, thanks to some of the strategic efforts of our group here. There is a war brewing where once was only devilish politics and the joy of manipulating the sleeping human masses. This group's story has only been a few small key points in what was a much larger game at play between powers who care little for our wants and needs unless it suits their purposes. Malkuth, having always been a thorn in the Archon's side since the disappearance of the Demiurge, has swung much of the power in Manhattan as well as Metropolis to her favor. But there are many small groups, factions, followers, cults, all who have a stake in the game. Tonight's story is primarily about one of the many smaller wars going on in Manhattan. And when we start our story tonight is 3 or 4 weeks after Harvey's play And I'm assuming that Harvey and Sasha have been spending a bit of time together. And my question is, since tonight is sort of Sasha's story, I'm going to start with him. And I want you to tell us, what's life like for you now? You know, you've had some physiological changes. There's some limitations to what you can and can't do. There's also the fact that since the big crazy stuff has kind of settled down, you still have your old life. It didn't go away. It's still there. That beeper is still somewhere amongst your belongings. And I'm sure every once in a while it still goes off. So I'm just curious, given your new situation, your new enlightenment.
Sasha, I think over the last several weeks has figured out that as long as he stays covered up, he can spend some time outside. And you know, he's in New York City, so dressing in a black hood, you know, in a black hooded coat, and you know, having a face mask pulled up over his nose and sunglasses on, it doesn't put him too out of place in most of the places that he frequents.
Right.
A lot of his clientele, I think, have changed. He's decided to change that. It's really more now just for his own shits and giggles, to keep some connections with some of the things that some of the people that he actually liked and wanted to spend some time with, or tried to spend some, you know, I mean, at least have a reasonable relationship with.
Can you give me an example?
So he was very popular in a lot of clubs all over the city. And really he's just kind of stuck to some of the underground punk clubs and the rock clubs, because those are more his people. But like Joey Ramone, he's made friends with Joey Ramone. He's made friends, not made friends with necessarily, but he's kind of been adjacent to Iggy Pop. And he likes that, because I mean, those dudes party till fucking 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And those are his hours now. And who wouldn't want to party with Iggy Pop? who wouldn't want to party with Joey Ramone? You know? So,
and having Harvey Winston as a very close and personal acquaintance certainly doesn't hurt the cause. And Harvey, since your last performance, you've been receiving offers left and right. Off Broadway, even a couple Broadway talks.
He's probably taking a break from that for a little bit. He'll get back into it in a while, but
Yeah, that's right.
He's taken some time off and kind of just staying at home and helping Ernie around his place and trying to like figure out what the cube's about, and then hanging around Sasha.
I
I'm
think
sure
you
he
mentioned,
goes to a couple of the parties sometimes, but they're not his
right.
scene anymore. So
I think you mentioned that last week that you're going to take a break too, but the offers keep coming. There's, your agent still he's insistent on getting messages to you, even though he only gets them about once a week or so, as it is over the last month or so. So you've been trying to figure out the cube with Dr. Kennedy. And I'm assuming Dr. Kennedy is there. It's Margaret Catwood has eaten Dr. Kennedy.
No, I've just taken the role this evening.
Oh. Oh, awesome. So, Dr. Kennedy, what is your focus? Because we didn't get to get a whole lot of your input last week, but I'm kind of curious. Harvey has come up with the cube, and it's the same box that you had seen before with the different symbols on the different sides, and now that they are all indicative of a particular archon or a power, as it were, albeit not all of them. As you know, there are more than 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious as to what your focus has been on aside from the box, and then we can start then talking about the box. But I'm curious as to Dr. Kennedy's life over the last few months as he's settled into his new digs and responsibilities. You've got several. The Flak Chatters are constantly sending out people and coming back with new information from beyond.
Right. Directing that those expeditions, that goal, that point to the research more efficiently is, of course, going to be his largest priority. Mapping out Elysium, for instance, Metropolis, that kind of thing, and using those maps to better direct the Flak Chatter forces, for lack of a better term, and just continuing to learn as much as possible about the various realms and how the key is going to be, again, for lack of a better term, the key to continuing what it is we're doing as enlightened on our way to, being fully awakened.
I like it. And so, Harvey, you seem to be then spending much of your time with Dr. Kennedy. How's your relationship with Sasha's been now that, he's got this time shift adjustment and he gets to spend some daylight hours with you, but the majority of his time is spent in darkness?
I'm sure it's pretty solid. I mean, they were best friends before they kind of got a little further than that, and so not much has really changed between them because they always cared for each other. I mean, he does get a little sad that he can't do stuff with him during the day, but I'm sure Sasha tries every now and then. He is starting to get a little stir crazy, not having a project to work on. And he might deflect that on Sasha a few times, but yeah, I think they're doing good. He'll sometimes go to parties with Sasha, but parties aren't much of his scene. They never have been, even though now he'll go and he'll talk to the people and be charming and be the life of the party. It's like exhausting to him to be so social with all these people.
Right.
But he'll go every once in a while, and he's always supportive. Like, if you need a D&D, like, let me know. If anything comes up, like, he'll basically be at his beck and call if anything happens.
Has
But he
anyone
lets him have his
mentioned
space too, because he knows Sasha has his own crowd and they're comfortable.
Right.
Has anyone mentioned the fact that Harvey's now like 1.5 feet taller than he used to be?
No, I think that just it's in a few tabloids, but
Is he wearing lifts? Who knows?
he did get a new wardrobe, and he's probably like on his way to moving in with Sasha, like they suggested before. Krista and I had a little discussion over Twitter of how they got all of his old secret drag show and club clothes and knitted a big blanket out of it. So
I love it.
he's kind of been cleaning out his place, cleaning up his life a little bit, and
Have you
he's
two?
almost like a stay-at-home mom now. He'll like clean the house and cook dinner. And
Yeah. Where do you two? Are you guys spending most of your time at your own domiciles?
Yeah, I think we spend
Yeah,
the majority of
probably.
our time at Harvey's place.
At Harvey's domicile.
Yeah.
Very good. And speaking of domiciles, Joel and Blythe, you guys are living in the building pretty much with Dr. Kennedy up in the cool apartment up on the 3rd floor, right?
Yeah, we
Yep.
probably hang out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're also still trying to come up with a plan to get into the temple. So all that work is actually at my place, but
yeah.
we tend to pop in just to annoy Ernie, probably during the day.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, pester him, steal his work, run off with it.
Uh-huh.
Nice. I love it. So then we're going to set the scene as we open tonight in Dr. Kennedy's lab with Harvey and Dr. Kennedy and Sasha. This is right as the night is about to begin. So it's kind of like the start of your day, as it were, or somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where dusk is in your routine, but as the night is falling, Harvey is still at the building with Dr. Kennedy in the lab, and Joel and Blythe, you feel free to just jump in and stir shit up whenever you feel it is appropriate. Sasha, I will tell you this, that as you are beginning to realize that Harvey's not here, Harvey's at the lab, last night you started receiving information in your out and abouts about, when you talk, see somebody that you had seen once before, that it's like just in the past few weeks, it is the 5th or 6th old connection that has turned up dead on the streets.
Dead like OD'd?
No, like murdered, but under strange circumstances. Blood's gone. Bodies have been sometimes, ravaged, cut up, messed up, ripped apart. So, just to keep the spoopy tone as to what is on your mind, this sort of gives you something to think about as you wake up and realize, your day is starting. Harvey's not around. Must be still at the lab with Dr. Kennedy, and I give it to you. At the lab.
Me? Them?
No.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay, at the lab.
we're opening at the lab.
yeah, he's been a little obsessive over this box at times, especially since he doesn't like have any work right now. He's kind of been putting all of his need to do something on figuring this box out. So he's been like in the library a lot looking up the symbols, and he's probably spent the past hour just sitting with Kennedy and fiddling with it like it's a Rubik's cube. Like maybe if he presses on a certain point or twists this way, it'll move or unlock something. But he gave up on that, and it's just sitting on a table, and he's sitting in the chair at the table, with his head like in his hands, and he's just staring at it hard. Like somehow, if he just laser focuses on it, maybe it'll do something.
Mr. Winston, are you trying to will a portal to open or something?
I'm trying to will anything to happen. I mean, this is a key, right? I just don't get it.
Well, a key needs a door, doesn't it? So, let's. I mean,
There's gotta be something.
Well,
It's just all this fuss over a box that doesn't do anything.
just because we haven't found the door that it unlocks doesn't mean that it does nothing.
He kind of like leans back in his chair and slams his hands on the table in frustration. Okay, so a door. I mean, I thought maybe there was something inside of it, or like a compartment that has another key. I just don't get how a cube.
If you recall, when we passed this key to who we thought was Malkuth at the time,
Alive.
we were told that, and shown, of course, that the key worked in temples, specifically as a way to traverse the interior. Perhaps we need to locate a temple.
Blythe's place.
Possibly. I know that Miss Watson and Blythe have been putting together a rudimentary plan to take it back. Potentially, the key is a portion of that. Who knows?
Okay. All right. I guess I'm just overthinking it.
Perhaps we should take a break. Why don't you go find Sasha? Do something fun this evening.
Shit, what time is it?
I look at a wristwatch and tell him what time it is.
It's nighttime.
This is probably a good time for Joel and Blythe to come bursting into the room.
As if on cue. Blythe like stomps in the side window. Like, where are they? Are they in the apartment? Where are you guys?
The library.
Fuck.
We
Nope.
go into the apartment
one
first, we're
room in this
screaming.
whole place that I hate going. It's got all these books in it.
Right, they're not even coloring books.
Curse you, aqua scum!
All right. So Blythe will just like burst in, just knocking books off the shelves as she enters, just making a huge, like, stupid ruckus.
The Flak Chatter librarian is just scowling.
Yeah, this isn't the first time. And she'll be right on Joel's heels.
Ernie. I have a question. I have a very important question.
I'm sure.
Super important.
Is there like a spell / mustard gas that we could possibly throw in the temple to take out everything?
You could get mustard gas. You want to start with that?
Well, I didn't know if it would do anything.
Yeah, like is it good against monsters? Is it good against, what are they, lictors?
Like,
Well, they are
anything?
still all mortal creatures. We've killed them in the past. Though, usually to make it permanent, we need their true names. So, temporary at best.
Okay.
enough to take over the temple.
We take over the temple, we don't have to deal with them and knowing
We
their
just
names. They just stay
Kick
out.
them out.
Yeah,
Right.
it's mine.
I don't think they'll give it up that easy.
Also, I believe chemical warfare is banned by the Geneva Convention.
Well,
I think chemical. I think that's the least of our problems, Kennedy. But good looking
I mean,
out.
how is the
Okay,
government gonna
okay,
know
okay.
what we are or aren't
We
doing if they're
send
not
them
even real?
a fruit basket, but all the fruits are poisoned.
Yeah, that was plan B.
Chances are they're not going to eat the fruit regardless.
Okay, what
So,
about a poisonous dead body? Would they eat a
What?
carcass?
I suppose if you
Where
were
are you
to
gonna find one of
pump
those?
Do they
pump
It's
eat?
Ernie.
a regular human body full
we
of
were like-
some sort of poison, you might be able to send that in while still living, but it probably wouldn't continue to live much longer. And I've stopped doing that kind of research in the first place, so no.
That was plan F.
Okay, well, I guess it's back to the drawing board on that one.
Yeah.
Thanks for
yeah.
being a fun killer.
I mean, I appreciate the initiative.
Live. You got
yes.
any like weird doors at your place?
I'm sorry, what? Weird doors?
Like doors that the doctor, like places he was protective over, places you weren't allowed to go.
I mean, yes, of course. But every house has their fair share, right? Of doors you're not supposed to go into.
I mean, I rarely let people into my basement without ulterior motives.
Harvey, are you still obsessing over that box?
Yes, I am. It's it's empty. I thought like something would come out of it, or I'd open it and there would be another thing inside, like one of those Russian dolls where you open it and then there's a thing and then you use that thing and maybe there's another thing and then we can use it. But a box, just a box.
Well, maybe it's less a key and more like a puzzle piece.
Well, see, I've tried that too. I've pressed places like
We're not living in a Clive Barker novel, please.
okay, I don't. That means nothing to me. But we are living in a fucking novel. Have you seen the shit?
There was also, just to refresh your memory, there was also that one place that you were. Dr. Kennedy's probably already sent out some people to try to find it again. The room with the doors that had the inset that the box fit into.
Oh.
With the
Where
big
was
jelly
that?
box.
Back.
That was deep in
centuries ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it would take some locating.
Well, and the most direct path there is through the temple that we are going to be trying to take over next week anyway. So
That's true too. Yeah, but Sasha, you've had some pressing stuff on your mind, and as you realize that they are all back at the building, what are you going to do?
Sasha's going to start his day like he normally would. He's waited until after dusk so he doesn't have to completely cover up. It's it's a normal process. Put on a jacket, put on his boots. He smokes more now than he did before because he knows it doesn't fucking matter. And do we have like an instant portal back, or do we have to call Ernie? Like, is there a permanent door between our apartment and...
I only would have set something like that up if you guys specifically asked me to, because I want to respect your privacy.
Harvey, would we have done that?
I wouldn't see why not, especially after all the stuff we've been through with all of them. If they come bursting through, it's probably for a good reason.
Then yeah, I would have.
And it probably leads into the apartment upstairs, right?
Yeah.
That makes the most sense.
That, or I would have created a new door specifically in the apartment for you guys to use.
Okay.
Theodore says, "Call a taxi."
No.
I'm not the one that's
definitely
worried
don't
about riding
take-
in a taxi, man. That's the good doctor.
I
He's the one.
absolutely do not use taxis.
Yeah, so Sasha would, get up and around, realize that Harvey's not home, and probably make his way back to the temple. Come into the apartment, look around. What's the apartment like these days, girls? What have you been doing to the apartment? How have you altered the apartment over the last few weeks
Just
since
trashed.
it's your domicile
Well.
now? It's just like got Coke cans and
Kids.
fucking pizza boxes.
There's
The fucking Super Nintendo's like still on the floor.
Harvey goes over to play Mario Kart and slurp Mountain Dews.
Absolutely.
yeah, there's probably some trash and alcohol bottles, and there's probably like a full ashtray because now Blythe does drugs. And
True. There's
So-
feathers everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's like equivalent to cat hair. Like there's not a surface in the house that there is not a feather stuck into.
And it's
there's like
it's
one
probably
spider in the corner, like
Right. It's probably been more than a week since I've been back here, and come into this mess, and just he shakes his head, and he fucking children. And I'm gonna use my super speed and I'm gonna clean the apartment real fast because it
Aw.
smells in here.
Aw.
It just
It
stinks,
smells.
and I do not want to hang out in an apartment that smells like fucking 3-week-old pizza boxes.
You know, I have someone come in literally 3 times a week, and it still looks like this.
Blythe had installed, like those parrot swinging, like little wooden swings
Uh-huh.
that parrots have. She had one of those installed above the sofa.
You have your own bird cage now?
No, but my
Your own bird swing?
my own bird swing. There's fruits everywhere. It's great.
So Sasha cleans up the apartment real quick and then just starts wandering. Kind of looking for Harvey, kind of just in his own head. What does this mean? Who is this that's coming after these people? Sasha's not dumb. And Sasha's seen these things and what they can, these different creatures, all sorts of different creatures, and he's seen what they're capable of, and he knows what he's capable of. And so he's not scared. There's not a fear. But he's kind of running over those things in his mind as he's wandering the building, trying to find Harvey.
You don't have to wander long because you stumble down to, you take the long way. You kind of know that they're going to be down in Dr. Kennedy's main brain room, the library of the building, where he can spread out his work, his public work. And when you get down there, you see the whole lot of them.
Good morning.
Hey, you're up.
Yeah. What are you guys doing? What are you working on?
What do you think
Harvey-
we're working on?
Walks over to him and like kisses his head real quick, and then just shows him a book and shows him the cube and just kind of makes a big gesture like still haven't figured it out.
Interesting.
But the girls over here are trying to find a way to poison the temple, like, a couple of demon exterminators.
Okay, well, poisoning was like third or fourth on the list because really I thought like Rambo style was good, but we realized that probably is not gonna work.
Okay, is your list like a 1, 2, 3 plan basis or ABC plan basis? Because you're kind of hopping around here.
I don't really remember.
I think it was both.
1A, 2B, 3C.
Yeah,
B6.
Kind of.
there's been a lot of plans.
Bingo.
You sunk my battleship.
Okay, none of those are
No,
related.
we're not playing Battleship again. That ended badly the last time we tried to play that.
Yeah.
You're right. It did.
And seriously, like, why don't you put it away when you're done with it? Like, there were pegs all over the living room upstairs.
Because somebody, I'm not going to say who, stormed out of the room because it wasn't a fair game.
Well, take 5 minutes and pick it up. What are you fucking? How old are you?
Okay, listen, I tried. I've had this lecture with them a million times. Every time I come over, there's trash fucking everywhere, and I can't handle it. My brain just can't handle it, and I clean it up, and it's a lost cause.
Wait, you clean it up too? Sylvia is in there 3 days a week.
Sylvia needs to be in there every goddamn day.
You
Have
guys
you
are
seen this?
disgusting.
No, Sylvia's a nice lady. You leave her alone.
Get your life. You need to get your life. Okay?
Okay.
Jesus.
What brings you around here? You okay?
I
mean, not that I'm not happy to see you. I just.
Right. No. Yeah.
You got that face.
Yeah. You got that face. It's a little
that
scrunched
obvious?
up.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of
this
get
one?
a unibrow. Uh-huh.
Is it this one?
Yeah. A little more
Not
smoldery.
that one. Oh, no.
Okay, before we go there, if we're gonna Rambo style, Doc, how many people do you have available to you? How many flak chatters are out there? How many flak chatters can you get back here? Is it, there's power in numbers.
Well, we've got numbers. There are several teams out at any given time, depending on their missions, the severity, length, duration. Some may or may not be back in any reasonable length of time, months potentially. But for the most part, we have quite a few. Curtis, do I have a number?
You do. And I will provide that number to you.
Somewhere between 19 and
2,000.
7,000.
Yeah. Yeah, you're thinking about it, and Sasha, your pager goes off. Dr. Kennedy, you've got there are at least 200 registered official flak chatters in the greater Manhattan area. Then it bleeds over into the other boroughs of New York City as well. There are about 50 or so that are frequenters. They don't go out on very many long trips. You can catch them in the building at oftentimes. There are about 50 that are long-term unaccounted fors, who are still out apparently. Who knows? They could still be alive, maybe not. And then there are about the remaining 100 that are on assignment. So a couple hundred at your disposal, that are of very, well, not at your disposal, 50 that you don't know where they are, but you know.
If I were to pull everyone that's currently on assignment and even were to conscript the non-combatant types that we have, taking away, of course, the lost. I'd say 125 at most. That's probably pushing it, and again, including the less than violent ones that might be less than useful, and I'd really not rather sacrifice to the temple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Internal politics aside, there's also the issue of to reach the ones through your methods, Dr. Kennedy, would require basically a ritual for each person that you wanted to contact, and that would be
which of course is why I say
consuming
at best.
Okay.
And contacting a solid third of that number would take days, weeks. It would require dozens of individual rituals. And, of course, travel time to get them back, depending on where they are. More rituals involved there. Varying
Got it.
lengths.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Yep.
You asked.
Perfect.
I had an answer. Sorry.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So no Rambo style.
That's been marked off the list for a while, to be honest, because I didn't think it actually worked. So.
Harvey
That's why I went with the mustard gas.
Nudges Sasha a little bit. Hey, is that your pager?
Yeah. And he pulls it off his belt and looks at it.
It is the fake phone number that you know is the code for a visit to Paul Viano.
You need anything? Can I help you with anything?
It's just a house call.
Okay. You can take the car if you want.
I'll get there on my own.
Sasha, no. What is going on?
It's nothing. I promise.
I don't believe that charismatic smile for a goddamn minute.
That sounds like
it, don't like it.
Joel, that you are wanting to read a person. So why don't you make a roll plus intuition for me?
I forget we have these things.
That's right.
I know, right? We can make rolls.
That's partly my job. I'm trying to get better at calling out the moves like this.
Well, that went well.
It's not better than a 9.
No, it's pretty bad.
It is not.
You
Oopsie.
10,000% believe him.
So the move reads, you accidentally reveal your own intentions to the person you're trying to read. So, and then I get a move. So why are you so concerned about Sasha, Joel?
Because he's got that look on his face that says that there's something going on, and he's trying to hide it.
You think Harvey didn't notice that, or that Harvey's just ignoring it, or Harvey's in denial?
That Harvey is playing the love-struck fool.
Oh.
I mean, he trusts him, but he's definitely
Sasha,
a little suspicious.
Joel seems to be jumping in the middle of the situation and is trying to roll an insight check on you, but you see right through that and get a pretty good read on what her intentions really are. I don't know, some sort of
Concerned.
motherly
Jojo,
controlling.
do you not trust me?
I trust you. I just am concerned you will get yourself into a sticky situation like that hasn't happened before.
You're right. It hasn't happened before. And now I have even more tools at my disposal that allow me to make sure that I can get out of those things. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere that will get me in a sticky situation.
All right, fine.
If I needed your help, I promise I would ask for your help.
Okay. Be careful, because if you come back here and you're hurt, I'm gonna kick your ass and hurt you some more.
That's fair. It won't happen.
Can I walk you out?
Sure.
Cool. Well, I'll be back. All right, guys, and we can talk a little bit more about this plan you're trying to hatch.
Cool.
And instead of walking out, Sasha walks back upstairs to the apartment.
Harvey will follow quickly behind him.
Oh, I'm not going to walk in front of you. I'm going to, as soon as we come out of the room, I'm going to grab your hand and I'm going to walk hand in hand.
Yep.
Yeah. And we'll be there together. What's wrong?
Joel, she does kind of have a little point, and I didn't really want to say anything because I trust you more than anything. But I just want to make sure everything's good with you.
That page is from Paul Viano. Do you remember who that is?
Yeah. That's what about?
I don't know. I really don't know. Paul isn't one that expects visitors other than who he invites. And when people show up that he doesn't invite.
Yeah, no, I get you. I won't follow, but if you're going there, just send me an SOS if you need to.
I will.
I've been a little concerned, and there's I haven't brought it up, but a while back when we were taking the building over, and you brought this man. Who was that?
Nobody that matters.
He seemed to matter. Sorry.
It's okay.
Curiosity.
No, you're concerned for me, and it makes me feel important and loved and cared for, and I will be forever grateful that you have chosen to feel that way about me. I will. But they were no one important.
All right. Take your word for it. I guess. No, I will. You know me. I overthink things, and I'm trying to be better.
It's okay. I think it's cute.
Thanks. All part of my charm.
Yes, one of the many.
So, yeah, I'll stay up. I'll stay up, and I'll be by a phone or have a pager if anything happens, just press a button. I'll be there.
Okay, I will. I wish I could tell you I won't be long. I don't know the answer. I can't tell you that for sure. I don't know how long I'll be gone. My guess is that he wants me to do something for him. That's usually why I get a call from Paul Viano.
All right, well, don't be a loner about this. If it seems like a big job, you have people.
I know.
And we don't need to know the details.
You'll be the first to know.
Okay. I'm holding you to that.
Okay, you can.
And they reach the room. And he stops by the door. Okay. Well, good luck. Be safe. Wear your mittens, for God's sake. Wear your mittens.
I'm not wearing my mittens.
No, just any pair. I have a pair of black ones if you really need them. In the
Sweetheart, I love you. I am not wearing those fucking mittens.
You know how many times you've scratched yourself? All right. Okay, you know what? This is a fight for another day. I don't want to get into it. I just want you to wear your mittens.
It's not a fight.
A little more often than you do.
It's not a fight. It's not a fight because there's nothing to fight about. I'm not wearing the mittens.
Oh. All right.
Sasha grabs hold of Harvey, and they embrace often. It's not an uncommon thing. They're very affectionate, and there's lots of PDA, especially when they're in and about their own place or in a place that they're comfortable. But Sasha holds you just a little bit longer this time.
He picks up on that, and he's very stressed.
And Sasha turns and reaches for the door handle, and that familiar smoke comes out of his hand and wraps around the door, and he clicks the door open to get to Paul Viano's.
What move is that?
Daredevil, and I rolled a 15.
I saw that.
Damn.
I haven't used it in a long time.
Blythe will turn to Joel as soon as the boys leave the room.
Or not Daredevil, Wayfinder, sorry.
Wayfinder. And she'll be like, I think I have to follow Sasha.
I think we should follow Sasha. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
I'm so glad you agree. We have to go follow.
Ernie, you coming?
Harvey kind of shouts out, and I love you when Sasha leaves, and then he's pacing.
He told us he didn't want us to follow him, so I would respect his wishes.
And when have I ever gave a fuck about what Sasha really wanted when he had that look on his face?
He's in real trouble. I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about this.
I think he knows how to
more than he wants us to believe.
He knows exactly how to contact us and how quickly we can arrive. There's no need to follow him directly.
Okay, well, if you're not going, we're going. So.
And then when he uses his ability and disappears somewhere into the ether, and then you cannot find him, you'll just be out in the streets of New York.
Joel is already walking away.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Enjoy
we have a secret weapon.
Not being with
Harvey.
us when he calls us. Bye.
And Joel's just like walking to go find Harvey.
Yeah.
Harvey is upstairs in the apartment.
So we walk in the door. What is Harvey doing again?
Oh, he's just pacing. He's just walking around.
Harvey, we have to follow Sasha.
No.
Where'd he go?
We can't.
We're going
to. He doesn't want us to.
He needs it, though.
He's like pacing. He goes into the bedroom, and his voice, he just kind of says out from in the bedroom, we can't. We shouldn't.
But you're obviously nervous about it because you're doing your nervous boy ticks. So
I'm not doing anything.
You're pacing.
He's in there like making the bed.
We're
Josh
going.
comes and
Just come
stands in
on.
the doorway and stares at you until you stop.
Fluffing pillows.
Yeah. He's like beating a pillow, like, like
Why do you have the reds hanging with the greens?
exactly.
No, he needs our help.
And he kind of whirls around. I'm not nervous.
You're
I'm
nervous cleaning.
fine. I
You're-
always clean. Listen, Sasha's a grown adult and he's dealing with some grown adult stuff right now that's not our. You don't think I'm worried? I always
You-
worry.
You
Okay?
fluffed that pillow 5 times and you're telling me you still think it's a bad idea.
No one
to go
fluffs
follow
their pillows anymore. Pillows need to be fluffed.
And then super strength bursts one of the pillows.
Probably.
Feathers everywhere.
Yeah, he's just like gripping a pillow, and when he's like, pillows need to be fluffed, he just like tears a hole in the case and feathers like come out.
Blythe will bend down and pick one up and like put it in her pocket.
Sasha.
Shit.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's
Oh.
you're good. Go for it.
This is more of us just nervous arguing.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I enjoyed that, and now I'm getting back to Sasha. When you step through the door, it is that familiar alleyway scene with this sense of direction. You know where you're going. Only it feels a little different as you're making your way to Paul's place, which is going to take you a moment, a couple of minutes at best.
Different how?
You sense it feels like you're being watched, but it's a little maybe bigger than that. It's unusual, so it kind of might be, unfamiliar at this particular moment, but it's not comfortable like it normally is when you make your way through your familiar shortcuts through the city. You don't notice anybody or see anybody. And then with a turn here and a turn there, you are right around the corner and at Paul Viano's place, the restaurant. You notice that there are quite a few more of the boys out front than normal. As a matter of fact, the sign on the restaurant says it's closed. However, all the lights are on, and it seems like there's quite a crowd inside. And you realize when you go in that the crowd is all Paul's men. It's got to be almost all of them. The place is like packed, and it seems as though there is an air of concern. It's not so crowded that you can't see your way back through towards what you are expecting, the familiar table where Paul normally sits when you go to visit him at his own turf. But before you can even get back to the restaurant, you're met halfway by his brother, his younger brother, Vincent, whom you've seen and maybe have been introduced to at one point in time, but you don't really have, you've never really had a conversation with the guy. He's never really been around when business was being done whenever you were here, which wasn't often. You weren't one of Paul's guys. It was just a relationship of convenience from time to time.
Excuse me. Pardon. Sorry.
Hey,
Try to move.
No, he stops you. Come here. And then leads you back further in towards the thing, but now you seem to feel like you're being escorted. Paul's not at his table, and it's a little less crowded back in this back part, and he takes you to an even less crowded, further away from the group, but not out of the room. And he's stops and gets kind of face to face with you, and you can really sense his eyes getting the measure of you. And he says, Paul's dead.
Okay. What the fuck am I doing here?
Well, I'm not completely familiar with all of the things that Paulie was into. I know he was messing with, I'm going to say people, although I think maybe you know better than that. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with his own private, personal hang-ups and whatever it was he liked to do in the off hours. But I heard through conversations and overheard some conversations that you two might have had that particular link in common. Do you know what I'm talking about? I know I'm being vague, but it wasn't
So
like...
let's go somewhere where you don't have to be vague. I don't have time for this bullshit.
All right.
Either spit it out,
listen,
or I'm out.
He wasn't like capped. Paul was like torn to pieces.
When?
Last night.
Where?
In his apartment. Stretched out on his bed. Arms, legs tied at four corners like he was going to have a freaky night, only he was dissected like a high school science frog. Only there wasn't any blood. He's like cut open down his arms, and he starts to get visibly upset, but you can tell he's more angry, and brings it back together. There's no... You'd expect the bed would be soaked.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm not stupid. I can put two and two together. I know you and him had crossed circles somewhere in this, whatever it was he was mixed up in. And, listen, friends of ours, even if they're pissed off, don't do this kind of shit.
You're right. These are not friends of yours.
So, I'm reaching out to you. Do you know anything, or do you think you can find out anything? My guys are just going to beat the streets, and they'll beat people up, but
they'll beat people up and they'll end up dead.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen to them. What do I get out of it?
What do you want?
I want control.
But right now, I don't even know if we got control. What kind of control are you wanting?
Sasha's had his hands in his pockets the whole time.
You want all the high-end business? I'll give you the high-end business.
No, I don't think you understand. I want the business.
Oh, you just want to just make you the boss. Is that what you're saying? I'll tell you what.
Are you in line to take over? Is that how this is?
Oh,
is that the plan? This is
Yeah.
this is your gig now?
Yeah. I'm the man now.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. Your brother's in with some things that you don't understand. And if you think that you can take over, I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong. And you and all the rest of your guys will be dead. Not by my hand. I'm not threatening you. That's not what this is. This is not a threat. Because those things out there, those things that did that to your brother, if they can do that to your brother, trust me, they could swoop in here right now if they wanted to and do it to every last one of you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So if I'm getting involved in this, then in the end, this will be mine. Understood? And I take out my hands and I point one finger at him, and he can see my hands for the first time. Understood?
Sounds
Long
like
fingers, sharp claws at the end.
Right. Yeah. He's definitely given it an eyeball, and it definitely sounds you're wanting to influence him. So why don't you make a roll plus charisma?
That +1 though.
Ooh.
That's not better than a 9.
That is not better than a 9.
Pretty bad.
Doesn't mean his head explodes or anything like that. So
No.
nobody panic. He's looking at you like a non-believer, like a man who doesn't quite believe in ghosts. You know what I mean? You are enlightened. You've gone from aware and been through and seen shit and dealt with shit that this guy has no clue. You were honest and right in everything that you said, and you just sort of get this very frustrating sense because you see it in his eyes that this dumbass is just not gonna get it. Not the easy way. Anyhow. But you can also sense that he is pissed off and wants something to happen and knows that he can't get anywhere on his own. And he is frustrated over the death of his brother and probably a bit overwhelmed with the fact that he is now technically the boss. And so he's looking at you, and you are starting to realize that he's probably not the brightest bulb. And he then says, with this just a bit of expression, he kind of looks at the crowd around him and says, well, I'm not going to make such a hasty decision like that right here and now. If you think you got something, then that weight's going to show out. And I'm definitely down to get you a nice seat at the table. I believe in paying people for their efforts for sure, but I'm just not going to lay down and let you stick your dick in me.
Sure thing, Vincent. But
I tell you what, why don't you go see what you can find out? And if it's a problem that I think you can handle more than my guys can, then we'll have some negotiation.
Yeah, negotiation. Sure. Do me a favor. Lose my fucking number. If I ever get a page from you like that again, you'll be the one that ends up that way. And this time, it is a fucking threat. And I turn and walk out.
His face melts into a bit of upsetness as you say your words. You don't get to see it as you turn and walk away.
I don't care to. I pull up my hood and I walk out the front door.
Then where do you go?
I told Harvey that I would be back. And so
I'm going to
go back, but I'm going to take the long way. I'm not going to take the short way. I'll hail a cab and I'll take a cab back.
Not a cab.
Dr. Kennedy's not in it. So.
Right.
God, I miss that voice though. Seriously, one of the best NPCs I've ever had in any fucking game ever.
Oh, I had plans for him too.
Well, we ruined those, so
that's so funny. He was fun. He was my little bit of comic relief for the game. So you take a cab back, and to your relief, it's just your typical New York cab driver. No racist inclinations, just an old guy in a newsboy cap. Now I'm
in a newsboy.
Yeah, a little homage to Red City, and you get a chance to pull your thoughts together as you head back to Harvey and the group. And this is where we will take a quick break because we are halfway through the show. So we'll take about a 10-minute break. Everybody grab something to drink and stretch your legs, and we will be right back. And we're back. Wait, I don't hear you guys. Something's not. Oh, say something.
Oh yeah, we were talking.
Not a single one of us had anything to say for once. We're all playing.
I was expecting some crazy shit to be happening.
Suddenly we're serious gamers.
Sorry,
Why would you expect that?
Took a moment.
Complete silence. I thought, oh wait, I've screwed something up. Hold on. Oh, we're back. And
I was tossing away the 11,000 points that people just gave me. So
I'm trying to win.
Yes. All right.
Did you do it all in like immediately?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, he did. I wanted it to last more than 2 seconds.
That's why I love you so much.
Chris Stone Cipher, we're gonna have to do a gambling intervention with
Listen,
Twitch
if I
points.
had actual real person money.
Yeah, I know. And there's like a casino right in your backyard. So
And I've won a small jackpot at that casino and never gone back since. So
I wish they had a card room. Oh, all right. Now we're going down a complete fantasy chain that we don't. Let's see. The winner of the Wormwood giveaway. Oh, wait, no, we don't do that.
Though if Wormwood wanted to reach out.
Wouldn't that be something, Wormwood? If you're listening or watching, wouldn't that be something? I do want to plug our YouTube though, because I'm going to be heavy footed with the whole YouTube thing, because I'm trying to get those subscriptions up, because we are, as we say out in the country in Missouri, sucking hind tit when it comes to our YouTube subscriptions. We do get lots of cult views, and that is awesome. I know that we have people out there watching. Just click that little red button. Click the bell if you would like, and then you'll get alerts, but you don't even have to do that for me. I'll give you a break on the bell, but click the red subscribe, because that helps us tremendously. I also am going to say we do have a Patreon, and we are currently doing some building on that and are running a Patreon only game. on the last Sunday of every month, just a one Sunday afternoon a month with all of the people who give us a little bit of money, and you can join that campaign too. And we haven't started yet. We're starting it next 1 month from this week is like 4 weeks away, the 23rd, something, the 24th. And of February, the last Sunday, whatever it is. And it's the Temple of Elemental Evil, and it's one that was the first. When I first got into redoing this whole role play games and stuff was because I started playing around with Roll20, which is why we use Roll20. Thank you, Roll20. I hope that we can do something as well. And I was an old school D&D player, and the Temple of Elemental Evil was one of my favorites, even though a whole lot of people hate it. I've delved into it enough that I've made it better for me. So I've been working on that and reconstructing. Part of it was just a little hobby, rebuilding those massive dungeons in Roll20. Anyways, so that's going on. Be a Patreon. You can play that game with us. And Twitch subs, of course, you saw an ad during the break. If you don't want to see those ads during the break, then you have to subscribe to Twitch, our Twitch channel, which is like $4.99 a month or something if you want to do it that way. That also helps us out. So those are a way to support the stream. So there's my plug. Or
also join the Discord.
Yeah, and join the Discord. I knew we were going to get to Discord at the end.
Okay.
This was just I'm starting this middle of the show little plug gimmick, and so, or Wormwood could just sponsor the show, and then I don't have to push so hard for all that stuff. But anyways, we are back, and Sasha took a taxi cab to back to the group, because he was going to let them all know, tell Harvey what's up, and have a little moment to think for himself. And I'm sure he wasn't taking his shortcut because he didn't want to challenge the gods anymore in regards to that sensation he was feeling the first time he went through, would be my guess.
No.
But that's just my guess. And so when you get back to the apartment, what do you do?
Is everybody in there? Are you guys all pacing? I've been gone maybe an hour.
Yeah, we kind of set the scene during the break.
Okay.
We're all in the room, and there's like 4 destroyed pillows, and Harvey's kind of holding Blythe back by her wings, and him and Joel are just kind of yelling back and forth. And he's just trying to like convince them that they need to stay there and just trust it and not go after you.
Just walk into your chaos.
Ernie, I don't assume Ernie is in the apartment.
I probably would have come up eventually.
Are you just standing watching us argue?
Oh, I went straight back to my room.
He's recording.
Oh God! No.
And it is like
by the
dinner
way,
time. It's like 7, 8 o'clock.
My room is heavily warded so that you guys cannot get into it.
Fair.
Rude.
No digging in
Rude.
Dad's underwear drawer.
Oh,
Grandpa's.
So, yeah, Sasha comes into the apartment.
Harvey lets Blythe go.
Thank
Are you guys having a pillow fight while I'm gone? What is this?
No.
Okay. Did you guys already get dinner?
Hello.
What?
Harvey is a nervous pillow fluffer, and he just burst all of the pillows on your bed, so you may have to make a run to the store for some new pillows.
I'll put him back.
They're in a closet just down the hall.
Yeah,
I have
if I know,
extras.
Doc's probably got linen closet, each floor, like super like satin sheets, anything you know what I mean. He's got all the spread for all the rooms all the
1,200
time.
thread count.
Ooh.
Nothing less.
Gross. It's like sleeping on
Wow.
greased rubber. Ugh.
Good description.
1,200 thread count. Ugh.
Yeah, he's a little riled up after arguing with Joel for nearly an hour.
Yeah, like Joel's like moving her hair to the side, like trying to like wipe the sweat from like screaming at each other.
Don't.
Blythe
Sorry.
is like ruffling her feathers, like all the loose ones that you pulled out.
Joel, make me a roll plus willpower, please.
Oh my
Oh
God.
no.
Why me?
You set the scene.
I feel
That's
like-
why you.
Ah!
I feel like you and Harvey scream at each other a lot.
God damn it.
Joel's
Wow.
pacing.
Better than I.
Harvey, you just as the thought, man, Joel's really starting to get kind of aggravated about this. And you saw her pacing around the apartment. You turn around and she's still pacing around the apartment, only this time she's in the shape of a large, shaggy German shepherd.
Shaggy, that's not very nice, sir. I'm a beautiful dog.
It's our
Yeah.
shaggy girl. So
He'll just
I
walk around
hear-
and pick up
does
feathers.
she turn into the dog when I get there, or is she already the dog when I get there?
She is already the dog.
Okay, then let me go back and retcon. When I come in and I see the pillows torn up all over the place and the feathers everywhere, I'd be like, Joel, bad girl.
She immediately turns to you and just starts growling and then like turns and just like nods towards Harvey.
Yeah. And he'll let Blythe go and just kind of look at him dumbfounded.
Thank you.
Long story.
I'm just
You're
gonna go
back.
get a beer. Anybody need a?
You're
And then
okay.
he just stops talking and just goes to the kitchen and opens the refrigerator and opens five bottles of beer, brings them back into the front room.
So when I'm in my room and everybody else is outside, my door is open and I hear you come in, say, "I'll take a scotch."
Then you have to join us, Dr. Kennedy.
And then I come out, yes, obviously.
I'll walk around shamefully picking up feathers.
Joel's pouting. She's going to the
No,
couch.
Joel
She's
should be
sitting on
doing
the
that
couch.
herself.
No,
when
she's
she-
sitting on the couch.
No, it was me. It wasn't Joel. It was
What?
I got weird with the pillows. Fluffed them too hard.
We're glad you're okay.
Really
Okay.
figured that out yet.
What do you mean you're glad I'm okay? I'm fine.
Well, they were freaking out and trying to go after you, and that's all.
We
that's
were
happened.
worried that something bad might happen, and we were just trying to look out for you.
Yeah.
You just see a giant
Thank
dog head.
you
Blythe has
for
reason-
that.
Blythe has a bit of reason to be concerned because all of your time spent with David lately, Blythe, while pleasant, his conversation is always turned to dark subjects about bad things looming and waiting in the city and in both Manhattan and Metropolis as a whole. You kind of always have to remind him to not be such a Debbie Downer, as it were, when you guys are together in social situations. So I'm just saying that to give the scene a little bit of story as her concern for Sasha.
Thank you for being concerned for me. I told you before I left that I was fine. But thank you.
I didn't
Fuck,
believe you. You're welcome.
Obviously. Okay, so let's sit down. I have to get some things off my chest. I need everybody to Just give me a minute, okay? And he starts handing bottles of beer to people. He fills up. There's always like a large coffee mug. You know what I mean? Like a large coffee mug. And he pours a bottle of beer in that for Joel and sets that on the floor.
Yes.
She's like staring at the coffee table and back up at you because she's sitting on the couch.
No, you're not lapping at beer on the couch.
She just stares.
Sylvia works hard enough as it is.
There's like a disgruntled, and then the ears droop, and she goes, she crawls to the floor.
Just Blythe goes like points to the ground. Damn.
So I don't know if you guys know or remember. I know that Harvey knows. There's a mob boss. His name's Paul Vieno. He's actually linked to Malkuth too, in some way. That's I think that's important. Over the last several weeks, several people that I have some connection to in one way or another, and I haven't brought it up until tonight because I don't know, I just didn't feel like it felt really circumstantial up until tonight. Anyway, they called me in because they found Paul Vieno tied to the four posts of his bed and ripped to shreds. This has been the common thing that has happened to all of these people that have died over the last few weeks. But the really strange part, well, I guess nothing's really fucking strange anymore. No blood. None of them. They've all been ripped to shreds. There's been no blood splatter. There's been no, you know what I mean? We all know how much blood can come out of a person, oddly enough. Most of us have seen it on one or the other of us at some point. So something, and I don't know what, something is tracking these things down, and I think they're trying to find me, or at least draw me out. Oh. Another thing, weirdly enough, and Ernie, please chime in at any point if any of this sounds familiar. I made a doorway, you know what I mean? I did my thing, my trick, and opened a doorway so that I could get to Paul Vieno's quicker. And when I was in the alley, something else was in there with me, and I don't know what it was. And there's, you know what I mean? It's always weird in there. It's always strange, and you feel like you're being watched or whatever. It's kind of scary and kind of strange, but this was different. This was something else.
Well, you've come across other things in the alley before, the swap dealer, for instance. That time
yes.
you found Jerry in the alley.
Right. But this was something more.
And you didn't see anything?
Nothing. I wasn't really trying to find or figure out what it was. It was there.
Well, I'm sure you did the right thing. Generally, it's a bad idea to go looking for things that are following you.
In all those books that you read, in everything you guys have been digging into, have you heard of anything like this?
Something that would tear a man limb from limb and leave no blood as a trace?
Yeah, that part.
I mean, even in vampire lore, there was still blood stains, so
There has been, Dr. Kennedy, that you mentioned, you've discounted this because of your thoughts on vampires, that even with vampires, at least the mythological vampire that you are familiar with as a sleeper type person, you've discounted the thought that here lately there has been rumors, you've caught it from some of the other flag chatters who have been out and about, just casually. You didn't really put a whole lot of thought into it because it has to, with vampires. Like, okay, I've seen things that vampires, really? Is that the best that you can come up with these days? There are much scarier monsters out there than vampires. So you just kind of discount it as the old myth that it has always been, at least in the illusion. But now that this springs into your head, Sasha's mentioning of this, perhaps you could second guess your thoughts on vampire. That maybe something is happening. This is my long way around to that recently you've been hearing rumors dealing with vampires, and you don't know any specifics about them because you put them to the back of your head. But as those words tumble out of your mouth about vampires and there's always a blood, the light bulb goes off.
Come to think of it, some of my team members, I don't know, I still haven't come up with a good name for them. Some of them, though, have mentioned that something akin to what we might think of as a vampire has been popping up more recently. It might behoove us to find one of them and see what exactly it is they've been talking about. Though, several of them have already gone back out on assignment. I discounted the thought earlier. Vampires. It's Bram Stoker. Yes, of course. But this is interesting.
Dr. Kennedy, just because I gave you all of that for free, I'm going to make you make a roll for me for this next bit of information. I'm just seeing which roll I want to make you roll. Give me roll plus perception.
That is not better than a 9.
No, it's not.
Oh, not better than a 9.
That's a flat 0 roll on my part.
That's all right. It's a conflicting roll. It's one of these moments when I still hold on to my old, as like a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master, I'm sitting on my hands because what I want to do is roll a die to determine an outcome. However, that gives me, I'm gonna take a move with that. Julian is one of those fools that you heard speaking on it, and he may still be in the building.
Let's head to the mess.
As we're walking down there, what about underlings? Like, I like that word, underlings. Like, team members sounds like you're an equal to them, and I'm sorry, we're
Hardly.
not fucking equals to them.
No, of course not.
Employees, they're not employees. You're not paying them, right? So
correct.
So that doesn't work. Underlings, I like
minions.
Minions, maybe. Minions sounds
It's a little
kinda,
dark. It's a little dark.
It's a little much. Like
we're not running slave labor.
Yeah, like you own them. I don't like minions.
They consider themselves explorers, if that means anything.
Well, that's good for them. I'm proud that they have their own name that they refer to themselves as. That's not what I'm looking for.
Peasants is more like the word that they're looking for.
They're like the Indiana Jones of KULT, of things beyond the veil.
Slaves. Oh.
But yeah, yes, to you,
nope.
It is technically per in the book of KULT Divinity Lost, Flag Shatters are a cult of Malkuth. So in regards, you having bound this temple to you are now the cult leader of this group. So they are technically your cultists.
Aren't we though?
We've come full circle.
Yep.
I was about to say, let me look at my charisma stats and
All right, Sasha's getting chased by a vampire, and we're trying to figure out what to call the cultists.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Harvey. You're right. But yeah, you do. There is a source of information, you think, in the building of somebody who may know a little bit of something because they were yammering about it the other day.
Julian, please come to the messel. Julian, to the messel.
It's Tom. He's the guy that pages.
Hey guys.
Secretary.
Oh.
Blythe wants to meet Julian in the mess.
Yeah, Tom actually works the switchboard for Malkuth. Yeah, so we're not gonna make you jump through a whole bunch of hoops. It doesn't take too long to track down Julian, and he's an interesting oddball. Most of these folks are people who believe in the things that you may or may not have believed in all your life until you realized through cold, crude awakenings that there is indeed other scary shit out there. And so he's a bit nerdy, as it were, in that regard. And he volunteers the information that, oh yeah, there's the vampires have gone crazy since, there's this whole power thing going on in the city, and everything's just all fucking nuts, man. That's all kind of crazy. So, they're trying to decide who's gonna, rule the night. And so apparently this fucking new guy, fucking Marlon, is decided that it's him, and he's got his little beasties out cleaning fucking house, and that, I guess they're the new gangsters. So that would go right along with what Sasha, was it? What he was saying about this, Vienna type guy. So they want to be the bosses, I guess. Marlon, that's apparently he's got some kind of, it's like a strip club or something, but nobody goes there. But anyways, yeah, it's down on 73rd. And he's apparently holed up there, but yeah, vampires. Well, Nosferatu.
Even better.
Delightful.
Yeah,
Finding a
vampires.
guy named
Vampires
Marlin.
sparkle. These guys do not sparkle.
You're about 20 years too early.
I know, that was a shout out to T. Dorf. He said something about sparkles. So
Wait, am I still a dog? Like, am I having to have the whole conversation just paddling behind as a dog?
Joel, can you behave yourself?
No, Jay.
Yes, you can slowly come out of your dog form.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Once Sasha gets here, you start to see that, okay, there's some control. People, all right, something's being done. You calm down a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
So they're just street toughs looking to take over territory?
Well,
I mean, is it?
Yeah, it's like it's like one big baddie, and then he's got a bunch of little vampire thugs that he's got. Henchmen, as it were.
Now that's a good word.
That is better than underlings.
I like henchman. Makes
Mm.
it seem more level.
Julian, how would you feel about being referred to as a henchman?
I'm sorry. Excuse me. What?
Nothing. Never mind.
No, I'm saying he's got henchmen.
Yes, of course.
Doctor, just stop talking. Just walk away.
What?
Just
Okay. So
Oh,
basically,
Julian.
we're fighting a vampire brood. That's the word for it. Brood, not vampire henchman. And
Hatchery?
Fighting?
no, it's a brood.
Why fight them?
Well, we have to if they're trying to kill you.
I don't know that they're trying to kill me. I don't know anything about them.
Oh.
That's just.
So you think they're trying to kill you? Because we've been trying to sort out because they're trying to kill out all these underlings, but they keep talking about this somebody else who's got who's like
They've been killing his associates, old links, drug deals, mafia.
Yeah. Well, they're after somebody else too. So yeah.
So we're
hurting.
fighting a vampire brood.
You were about to say something else, Julian. They're after somebody who is better than.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hadn't thought about it, but now that you're mentioning it, and the things that he's saying, and well, you should like wear some mittens or something because those are kind of spooky. That there's that they're at, there's like the Night King, the night power, the power of the night that they're after, and I just assumed it was a thing, but considering who Mr. Sasha is and knows, and his experiences, his abilities, his fingers, maybe
you can stop.
Maybe it's not, but I could certainly see you being on their priority list.
Okay. So, is it your classic vampire? Do we need to march in there with crucifixes and garlic, silver bullets?
They are not religious.
Silver bullets is werewolves.
But
yeah,
okay,
no,
does regular bullets hurt them?
Regular bullets could do it. They're not religious. They just like to drink blood, and they're mean and tough, but they're just dummy Nosferatu, nothing too crazy. Now Marlin, he's a tough bastard. He's been around a long time, but his henchmen they have guns themselves, so
Well, I'm
Thank
down.
you, Julian. Thank you very
no
much.
problem. I mean, it was
That's-
kind of fun. We've been kind of keeping an eye on it, just because it's been kind of like a soap opera. But I never really thought that we'd have anybody actually involved. Interesting. Yeah, let me know how it turns out.
Julian, when are you set to go back out on an exploration mission?
That's a touchy subject, Dr. Kennedy. I know that you're the man around here now, but I wasn't. Somehow I ended up on. I'm supposed to go back to Inferno. I already went to Inferno once, and I do know how to get back, but just because I know how to get back doesn't mean that I got to go. We can talk about it some other time, but yeah, I'm happy.
I'm sure. I've spent some time there myself,
Yeah, I know. Apparently, there's a lot of us that have been going there lately.
Funny how that works. You can go about your business, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kennedy, have you been sending your henchmen to hell?
What happened to the Geneva Code? And you can't do that to people, and I don't do that to people anymore. I'm not a bad guy.
Chemical warfare is against the Geneva Convention. And there's valuable research to be found in the Inferno. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to take over this temple.
You make 0 sense as a person.
Sasha's kind of walked away from the group, found a piece of paper and a pen, and he starts writing.
Joel, you got guns here?
I mean, there's plenty of guns back at my place, and Ernie was nice enough to connect the apartment to my house. So, I mean,
There is, of course, also an armory literally 3 doors down from here, so...
Bitch, I don't know your life.
Your henchmen don't clean their weapons very well. You need to talk to them about that. I've found like 5 shotguns that were stuck.
Okay, well,
they just need to maintain them better.
If we're fighting, if there's like multitudes of fucking vampires, I think we should use guns. If something's coming after Sasha, yeah, of course, of course. If something's coming after, I mean, you were on about protecting him just 30 minutes ago, and
well, yeah, but he said he's not sure that they're coming after him.
Okay,
well,
but
who
even
else?
divorcing ourselves from Mr. Winston's necessary desire to protect his person, it is still important that this pawn be removed from the board.
I agree, but obviously the last time we got upset about trying to do something behind Sasha's back without consulting him first didn't
God. Are you're gonna let this linger? You're really gonna do this right now? Okay.
You see Sasha fold up the piece of paper and he walks out of the room. As you guys are all arguing back and forth as your conversation is going.
I don't know. He's got all these secrets, okay? Like I'm an open book. Like I don't have a lot of things to my life. Like I was bullied and I wanted to be a superstar. That's basically all I got.
Dr. K goes out to the front desk and summons Harry and Marv down.
Harvey, stop.
Well, you guys
stop.
are
Harvey, just go talk to him.
All this stuff about people dying. This is the first I've heard of it. I don't think he wants to tell me, and I'm walking that awkward line, of like being a good
grab
boyfriend.
Harvey by the shoulders and start shaking him until he shuts up. Go talk to him and see what he wants to do.
I don't
see how he's feeling.
I don't want to bother him.
I don't give a fuck. Go talk to him, please. He listens to you.
I don't even know what to.
Blythe, what did you say?
I said I snuck out while they were arguing, and I followed Sasha.
Followed Sasha, and
yeah.
So Blythe.
Because you guys aren't going to do anything about it for another 30 minutes.
What did you?
We're gonna
What
be
is?
angsty.
What are we calling the two? Your two demon slaves,
No, Harry and Marv.
Harry and Marv. Okay,
Because it's Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
yes. I still have them as their. I still have them as their old assemblages, so I'm just trying to get that a little straight in my head. That's awesome.
So
I wish I had
when they
made
come
new
down to the
tokens.
front desk, I hand them the letter that I wrote, and I say, "I need you guys to deliver this for me." And I give them the address of the strip club where Marlon is.
The rabbit hole
Take this to the rabbit hole.
is the name of the place.
Make sure it gets to Marlon.
And what does it say?
It
When Marlon reads it.
it says Central Park West, midnight, Sasha.
6 words.
I challenge thee
Very
to a
simple.
duel.
If Sasha turns around to leave, Blythe is just going to be right there behind him, staring at him.
Hey, kid.
Hello, what you doing?
Trying to not get us into a fight. What are you doing?
By writing a letter?
So here's how I see this.
Okay.
We probably have to get back into the basement to get to those doors to use the key, right?
Yeah, I would
And
assume.
and to get into the basement to get to those doors, we have to take your house back.
Yes.
And plus you want to be the queen and all of those things.
Yes.
It'll be a hell of a lot easier if we have an army.
Do you really think an army is going to be necessary?
I would much rather have a bunch of vampires on our side that I can throw at these fucking people in the temple than have to go through trying to kill all of these vampires. I'm not worried about that part. The violence, that's easy enough. I guarantee you that between the 4 of us, plus whatever the doc brings along, I'm not worried about that. I guarantee you that we could walk in there and rip them all to pieces.
Of course we could.
But I would much rather walk in there and have them all show fealty so that I can send them in, distract, destroy, and be ripped to pieces.
The doc, by the way, is at the front desk.
Oh, I
summoning
just
Harry
turned
and
around
Marv
and Bly's
down,
right there. Yeah, no, you're standing right there with me.
and I just turn and look at Sasha. I'm like, I'm glad we're of the same mind. That was exactly my plan. Kill Marlon, have you take over.
I don't even know that I want to kill Marlon.
It'll probably come to it, though.
It might. But
Do you
I'll give
want
it.
to take over? Do you want to be in Marlon's place?
I will if I have to.
But that doesn't answer the question. Do you want to? Doesn't seem like your type of gig, is all I'm saying.
It's a means to an end. I mean, honestly, in the end, more than likely, if this happens and we are able to do it and I don't need them anymore, then I'll just dispatch of them because we don't need them anymore. I don't want a bunch of vampires running around doing what they've been doing. But they're obviously coming for me in some way.
So you're going to go. Who was the letter to? What was that all about?
It's to Marlon.
Oh, So you're just gonna go meet with him, be like,
Yes.
"Hey, bro, can we be cool?" And then you're just gonna be cool. You don't think that's gonna? You're gonna get yourself hurt.
Maybe.
What?
I'm not going by myself. I was going to fully ask that everybody comes with me because, I mean, we tear lictors in half.
Yes.
So
Also,
I
if
would-
you have invited Marlon to this meeting, he's going to bring his entire henchmen. Did he refer to them as henchmen earlier?
Henchmen, I believe.
Yes, all of them. He will bring all of the henchmen.
good. And if
Ugh.
he decides that I am the Night King or whatever it is that Julian says, then great, I'll be the Night King for as long as I need to be the Night King. And if he decides that he thinks that he needs to kill me to be the Night King, then I'll rip his fucking head off.
Good, let's go.
Okay.
We should probably set things up ahead of time.
Yeah, quit being so vague around your boyfriend.
What?
I don't know. I feel like Harvey really worries about you. And I
Yes,
feel
Harvey
like
is a worrywart.
you and him need to communicate a little bit better.
I don't need to have public conversations with the love of my life so that everybody else knows exactly what's going on in our life.
True.
I think Miss
Thank
Blythe's
you for your
point is that
concern.
you should have those conversations, though.
We do. Jesus Christ. What is happening right now? I'm taking relationship advice from you and you.
Your
And
point
Sasha's gonna walk off and
is
go back
made.
into the other room and be like, so here's the deal. And then I'm gonna lay it out, and I want us to get ready, make plans. Joel get packed with guns, whatever, and then let's go get set up at Central Park West. I
Yeah,
want to
of
get there
course.
before them, while the letter is being delivered to Marlon.
And I take Joel to the armory.
Mission Impossible
Going
theme
through
music
guns,
plays.
bitching and complaining.
There's a montage where we're loading shit up.
Yeah, total montage.
We're gonna have a montage. Montage.
Very good. This is where I switch over to my Central Park West map that I had prepared.
Wow.
Instead of the strip club map.
Instead of the strip club map.
Well, I could have written a note and said,
Oh, I love it. I love
I'll
it.
be in the
It
club.
absolutely blows me away. No, I'm sitting I've been churning this whole time thinking, okay, here's what we're gonna do now.
I'm not going to him.
Very smart. Very smart. That's the best move. And so what is your strategy? You gave him a date and time, right? So you're not expecting a response. You're just going to go there and hope that he's there.
I'm just going to go there and expect him to show.
That's right. So we're going to assume that the area is, it's going to be like a movie, that everybody knows which part of the park we're all going to go to. And there is, this nice little picturesque clearing of about 20 or 30 feet or so with a surrounding of trees and bushes, not dense, but there, Central Park is big and there are trees and bushes and stuff there.
Yeah, no, I would choose a wide open area.
So you're looking for like the great big spaces.
Yeah. I'm not trying to do like stand at the end of the tunnel in the silhouette and, trick them into coming down the tunnel and then no.
But that would look so good. So where does everybody?
It would look good, but I really am trying to convince them that they should just work for me.
Yeah, I get it. I kind of like it. I'm curious though as to how, and just in case things do go poorly, where everybody, what's the strategy here? How's everybody situating themselves?
So I'm gonna summon as many Farako as I can to camouflage themselves around the surrounding area. I've got Harry and Marv with me, and I've drawn a protective circle around myself.
Nice. I had tokens for your Farako and your the other ones that I had picked out for you as well.
Nice.
And I had Harry and Marv.
Damn it! I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah,
I ruined the visuals.
yeah, it's good. I love it. That's not the end. I just was letting him know because of last time. I didn't.
I had the weird hot dog wolves.
Yeah, everything was all screwed up, and I had to use generic top-down wolves. I thought while I got that problem fixed, just in case, I thought, well, he may do that again tonight because he can. So, be ready for it. Have the miniatures ready. And I thought, oh, well, he could pull Marv and Harry if he wanted to. So I thought I better get them ready too. But I've forgotten about Marv and Harry. They were still Enoch and Enon to me. And so I made tokens out of their painted faced versions. So I had those ready for you too, just in case. I was like, come on, Chris, pull something out on me tonight. I got you. So you guys are getting yourself situated, and you got your beasties hiding in the bushes.
Yeah, I'll be next to Sasha if he wants me to. I'll like act all tough and be muscle, or okay, I was gonna say, or I'd hide in the darkness. But if he wants me around,
no, I want you around.
See, I have a quick question here. Just to
yes, you ask your question, and then I have a question too.
Okay, I have an advantage. It's called Hunter. It says whenever you are hunting someone or something, I can roll perception, and then I get 3 options if I roll good.
Mm-hmm.
Set up an ambush, camouflage, take +2 to act under pressure while you're hiding, and move in shadows. Take +2 to avoid harm dealt with a ranged weapon. Can I use that technically right now?
Yes.
Or would I have to wait?
No, you're hunting.
Okay, then I'm gonna roll that really quick.
Cool.
Perception.
You are the hound.
See if I can help out a little bit.
I didn't even think to make a mental note of this, Sasha. What time did you set this meeting for?
Midnight. Central Park West. Midnight. Sasha. That's what the note said. I'm going to ask that the queen, our wonderful angel queen, that she either be standing somewhere close by, like she and Harvey kind of flanking me, or that she's kind of circling the area in the air, making it obvious that there's an angel flying around above. Like, I would prefer if she's circling the area, big beautiful golden wings kind of shining in the moonlight.
She can absolutely do that.
Yeah,
you would love that.
A divine presence.
Show off a little bit, babe.
We can all be pretty scary if we try.
I can be real scary.
And
then what are you doing, Joel?
I rolled an 18, so I'm camping out in the bushes.
You bring a sniper rifle?
Not great. Probably not a sniper rifle. But if we went to the armory and we suited up, I mean, I'd probably have 2 handguns and probably just a regular rifle.
I've got a big old shotgun that Joel just taught me how to use, but man, I'm acting like I know how to use it.
I mean, I would think that you'd spent plenty of time at this point learning at least how to use a street sweeper.
Not the biggest fan of it, but yeah.
Yeah, Joel, this scene can be a long one for you. It says anytime during the scene on those, but you can pull out your avoid harm if you want, or whenever you feel like it.
Well, Harvey, I'm not a big fan of orange mittens either, but I fucking wear them.
There is one in every color. You can pick whichever color you want. I made you so many.
Yeah, well, the yellow ones are kind of gross. The green ones, I like my nails just slashed through them. It wasn't intentional. I was reaching for something, and the pink ones I still have, but I only wear them around the house because people really look weird at me when I'm wearing the pink mittens.
That's so strange. I feel like they wouldn't notice that
It's
at all.
okay. For this, you don't have to wear your mittens.
I'm not wearing mittens.
Your mittens can go in your pocket.
Great.
It's okay.
Dr. Kennedy, make a roll plus perception.
I did not bring mittens.
Harvey. I know that he brought mittens, but it's okay. It's okay. Keep them in his pocket.
It's a little better than a 9.
It's slightly better than a 9.
But it's still better than a 9.
That's right.
We like that.
Dr. Kennedy, you get the sensation that whoever it is you're waiting for is here en masse.
Well, I was right about all the henchmen. Did we agree on henchmen or minions for these?
Julian called them henchmen, so we'll just stick with that.
Sure.
The brood.
Yep, they're here. A lot of them are here.
Good.
As everybody starts to focus and let the petty conversations slip from their brains, and you all start to sense that you are definitely not alone. Now, I don't dare to say that you guys get scared so much anymore when these sort of feelings happen. Blythe, you see shadows move quickly from here to there, from this tree to that tree. You can see one streak out across the open, and they're moving quickly from dark spot to dark spot. And then it starts to settle down. So that's kind of your bird's eye view. You don't see any physical forms. Nobody does. Joel, you smell blood. It's not fresh. It's old and rank. Like soured blood, like hamburger meat that sat in the refrigerator a few days too long. And as everybody starts to sense these sorts of things, he's right in front of you, Sasha. Just you blink and he's there. He's not very tall. He's like 5'7", 5'8", kind of a skinny guy in dirty jeans and a wife beater t-shirt. He's very muscular, but sort of that scrawny dude kind of muscle, you know, all bone, all muscle, beef jerky type. And he's dirty, and he's got dreads, and he
like nasty gutter punk dreads.
Yeah, he stinks. He smells of soured sweat. And as he gets closer to you, you can see that he's got just jagged, yellowed teeth. He doesn't have vampire fangs. But if he wanted to make a mess and get at blood with his mouth, he could very easily do so. His fingernails are black. You can see he's dirty, almost sooty, like he's been squeezing through chimneys or something. And you can see a little bit of scarring on his skin, glinting in the moonlight. And as he just starts to walk straight towards you. He's about 10 feet away now, and he's walking up rather briskly. You can see that he's got a pistol-gripped sawed-off shotgun in a hand. And he is flicking out a box of cigarettes and putting one in his mouth with his other hand.
I just put my hands up. Marlon, I presume.
Marlon Bones. Sasha. Hey, got the message, did you? You come to die.
No. And I hope you didn't either.
You can smell his breath ever before he gets his cigarette lit.
Oh, he hasn't lit his cigarette yet?
He's in the process of it as he's saying those words to you.
Is he close enough to me that I could light his cigarette for him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, then I will do that.
He's right up close and personal. When you light up, you can see that his skin is pale. It looks almost clammy, like he's sweaty. It is not the glamorous vampire.
What is it that you want? What is it that you want? You've obviously been looking for me in some way, trying to draw me out. I don't know why.
I'd like to make you one of my bitches.
Would you know?
I think I would.
Why?
'Cause you're kind of cute.
It's true.
I don't play with boys often, but you're cute. Yeah, I think I'd like to make you one of my bitches. Keep you around. You could light all my cigarettes.
That was a courtesy. Listen. I'm going to guess that you're not amicable to a truce or a partnership.
What are you talking about? No, I thought you just made it easy. I thought you were going to come to me, plan a siege or something like that. But I see you've got your people scattered around in the bushes. I got my people scattered around in the bushes.
I'm sure you do.
So what is it you're wanting?
There are bigger things at play here.
I know. You're like the God boy.
Yeah, something like that. If you help us, there's more for you in it than, knocking over liquor stores and controlling some small-time drug rings. Much more.
I am.
You want to feast on demons? You want to make lictors your bitch?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that we have access to way more power than you could possibly imagine. I'll make you my bitch if I have to. But I'd rather not. I'd rather us work together and reap the rewards.
So you're really talking some kind of partnership?
At least a relationship. I wouldn't say a partnership necessarily, because I don't really do that kind of thing.
Huh.
But I am willing to not kill you.
Hey, you cheeky bastard, aren't you?
You goddamn right I am. You can try me if you like.
All right.
What do you need from me to earn your brood, the services of your brood?
Yeah. If I was to answer that honestly, it would be, I would need you at my beck and call.
Well,
You've got connections.
it's true.
I would like access to those connections.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you access to those connections. But we're going to have to work together on something pretty big. And it's coming up pretty quick.
I sense it's coming up in about a week's time.
What do you say?
Meta.
All right. Test drive.
Test drive.
Very cool. I'm going to end that scene. He did bring a lot of vampires just because I was ready to do it to it. But the proposal seemed too fun not to play with any further. But we are like out of time.
Oh, I'm sending them all to their death. Every last motherfucking
It's
one
okay.
of them.
We got time. We can fight. We can do
Yeah,
something.
that's all right. I'm already working them in to yeah, because just a little spoiler, Blythe's adventure is going to be a bit of a dungeon crawl. So now I just have a whole bunch of vampires to populate the place with. It's going to be beautiful. Oh, that is awesome. However, we're not done yet, Harry. It's Harvey. It's not over. I have Harry on the brain. Why do I have Harry on the brain? Harry is one
Is
of
he
the
and Marv are there?
He and
Yeah,
Marv are
Harry and
always
Marv.
there.
That's why I've got Harry on the brain. So yeah, Harvey, it's not over yet because I already gave Invisible Duke a little bit of a heads up earlier that he was going to get a similar question that the others have had to answer, because these are the epilogue episodes and we wouldn't just finish here. And we know there's still a bit of the story left to tell because we've booked it completely for next week when we finally get to go back to where it kind of all began and retake that blasted penthouse apartment Hey, it's nice, 3-level bastard. It's a beautiful place. With access to underground facilities. And yeah, so I'm kind of curious as to how Sasha foresees his life. Of course, we don't know what the world actually holds in store for him as far as his fates. But I'm pinpointed a little bit more, made it a little bit more specific for Duke because I just wanted to change it up just a smidge. And the question I posed was, where does Sasha see himself at the age of 40?
Sasha, of course, is solely devoted to Harvey and continues to cultivate and feed that relationship. And Harvey is understanding of the way that Sasha has to live. But I think Sasha becomes more externally, becomes more the general, more of the driving force behind making sure that order is kept so that Malkuth can stay in power.
You know, one of the
because Sasha likes the illusion.
Right. Well, yeah.
Sasha likes access to the illusion. Sasha likes being able to manipulate the illusion. And so Sasha, and just keeps growing these different factions to help ensure that some form of order is kept within Manhattan.
I like that. One of the things that I have been questioning myself about Sasha all week long was because he was a drug dealer, and albeit, personal trauma and dark secrets aside. And I was interested in how he was going to incorporate new exposure with old life. And I have to say, I'm rather proud of how you see Sasha turning out.
Well, I think he realized that there is no white room, place of peace. He has that.
Yeah.
He found that with this family right here. He found that place of peace with them. And it's not as if he's some malicious mob boss. It's not as if he's Tony Montana, that sort of thing. He still does his best. And the girls especially make sure that he doesn't get too full of himself and that they knock him down pegs. They make sure that he's not constantly, just letting mass murder happen because it doesn't matter. So right. It's the people around him, but he's constant, he's by the time he's 40, 15 odd years from now, yeah, he's got his fingers in all parts of the city.
I love it. There's a map of the rabbit hole for you to look at.
Oh yeah.
Just so I can gloat in my glory. Although some of it's blacked out, you can't see those offices because you didn't go there yet. That was awesome.
I'm sorry I ruined your fun.
No, that's okay because it went. Here's what I love about it. It went in a completely different direction, and the whole time I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to go with this because I kept thinking, all right, how am I going to railroad him back around? How am I going to? Nope. Am I going to bump him and shove him and push him where I want to go? And then I thought, well, why don't we just, because I'm still got some planning that I'm doing for next week, and I thought, hey, he's wanting to bring the vampires along, and so. That was what was going on in my head was, now I have all of these cool ideas that are going pop, 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 pop because of a direction that I didn't think it would go. I figured I'll just railroad these guys straight into the strip club and there'll be a battle and then that'll be it. Now it's gotten better. So we didn't get to see a big battle, but I'm assuming that nobody will be disappointed in that regard next week at all. So thank you very much, Duke, for that twist. That's what makes it fun for the DM, as you know. And thank all of you players. Let's go around the table as we get closer because I think Blythe is starting to fall asleep and she's just can't hardly take the excitement of next week. But we're going to go around the table and get a quick reaction for the story this week and see what everybody's got going on, who they want to plug. And we're going to go the opposite way around. So let's start with Harvey Winston.
Hello, yes, it is me, Jaylee. You can find me on Instagram at Jahoy_matey. I believe that's my Twitter as well. Yeah, love this game, love it every week. We've just gotten so a part of our characters that we just kind of, the banter is so natural now. So it's very bittersweet that next week is coming up, but I'm also excited to jump into a new story. I'm glad to have done some more stuff with Sasha's past a little bit into that old drug dealer phase, and it was good. It was so much fun. I'm looking forward to it next week too.
It was a lot of fun. I had to keep looking at the clock because you guys would get going. I kept thinking, "Oh my god!"
I was like, "We'll go until midnight."
Because I
fine.
was enjoying it. You know, we've said that since we started playing this game that sometimes you can watch it. Other people who've watched it on YouTube have commented too that they can see it happen. Where I can, Curtis has just become a spectator.
There they go again.
I know.
There they go again.
Between like not wanting to railroad it too much, but also just having so much fun.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and I get lost in the story myself, and you guys help make it unfold. So that's beautiful. And the other one that's beautiful, and I got to turn her into a dog tonight. I love it, and that's Joel.
I always seem to get shanghaied into something.
I will find a way.
Every single time.
It is the way.
Drinking beer out of coffee cups.
Yep. Hi guys, my name is Erica. You can find me on most social medias at EricaInmore97. I'm also the community manager here at TTRP Theater. So follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can see my fuck ups on a daily basis. And then you can see my funny tweets about how I fucked up about it, noticed it later. And because Izzy will probably start screaming in the chat as soon as possible, get on our Discord and come join us. And you can deal with our shenanigans every day of the week for your pleasure.
He hasn't said anything, so we must have caught him sleeping. I will always find a way to get, now that I can turn you into a dog, it is a mission of mine. I have it written in KULT. There's this thing called bombs, and it's just a list. It's just a list of shit that I can throw out at any given time if I get the right move or whatever. So I keep a list of stuff that I could do, and always at the top of that list is turn Joel into a dog. So I will find a way, and I guess we determined tonight that we have a cult leader in our group, and that would be Dr. Ernest P.W. Kennedy.
Did we settle on a word for your minions?
I think tentatively we're gonna go with henchman as well.
Henchman. I like that.
I'll have to come up with like a flowery term, like a flower child type term, since I am now a cult leader apparently. We'll go the family way. We'll do some Charles Mansoning up in this piece or something. Who knows? My name is Chris Stonecipher. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Stonecipher. You can find Mew Jackman over at The Greatest Meowman on Instagram. I haven't really posted much on his Instagram lately.
He's on hiatus.
I'm waiting until Margaret Catwood has her kittens, I think.
Oh. And some family portraits coming in the near future.
Yeah, just a massive photo dump all going on all at once. Make sure you follow TTRP Theater on the social medias. I appreciate the hard work that both Curtis and Eric do on TTRP Theater's Twitter, because it gives me stuff to share to the vast and constantly growing D&D, TTRP, writing community Twitter groups that I'm somewhat associated with. Like I said, mine is Chris Stonecipher, all one word, one S in the middle. And gosh, I don't know how I feel about next week, because it's so like it's the end of an era. And I don't know. Like I'm gonna really miss Dr. K. I'm gonna miss Harvey and Sasha, and they're just fucking adorable relationship. I love them both so much. And of course, Joel is my spirit animal, and Blythe is just an annoying little sister that I always wish I had growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
I love them all.
With wings, which makes her even more annoying.
I love them all. I'm going to be sad to say goodbye to them.
Well, we don't have to say goodbye completely, and we still have work for Dr. Kennedy, but speaking of the annoying little sister, that does bring us to Blythe, who gets to be the queen and the star of the show next week for the finale.
Yes. So excited. It'll be great. I'm really pumped about it. I'm pumped about next week. I'm real spooked, because I hope no one dies now that we have an army. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
Do you think I have anything dramatic planned for next week? No.
Absolutely. Don't you lie on live internet.
If you take away any of these characters, I will cry for a week.
For just 1 week.
Yeah.
And then I'll be a new character.
Yeah. On to the next. But yeah. So you can find me on Instagram. Oh my gosh, though. Guess what?
Twitter!
I fixed my Twitter, so you can find me on there too.
Yay.
She went on a mass tweet delete spree the other day, and I tweeted out, "Emergency! Everybody go screen cap all of Krista's old teenage drama tweets," and nobody screen capped.
That mountain is the past, and it will stay in the past.
It lives up here. It lives up here.
I did see a lot of that interaction, and all I could think of is thank God that those two are separated by hundreds of miles of real life, because if she was still local, she would have gone to wherever you were and whooped your ass.
Oh, I would have too.
I was at work at the time when I saw that in the Discord. I was at work. I got on Twitter.
Embarrassing.
She'd have come to your part of Home Depot and just started fucking cleaning off shelves.
Yeah.
Boom.
I have a lot of expensive equipment back there. That would have been a terrible thing.
That's not my problem, now is it?
Well, for all of us on Twitter, welcome back, Krista.
Thank you. It's very obnoxious. It's Krista with 4 E's _A. That's my Twitter handle.
We like it. I can sense the irony in the way that you spelled that name.
It's really
and I love it. And we love you. And next week's going to be awesome.
Oof.
But this week, the star of the show sort of was Sasha, who said, "No, you don't get a battle, Curtis. We are going to have some diplomacy." And I loved it. And that's Sasha.
Hi. I'm at Invisible Duke on Instagram and Twitter. And I've done a lot of role playing in my life in a lot of games. I've been playing role playing games for a long time, and I have a lot of really, really fantastic memories around all of the RPGs that I have played in my life. I can tell you about like the very first superhero character that I created when I was 12 with my friend King Ginger, who runs the D&D DT game. But this might be the best gaming experience I've ever had in my life. You guys are unbelievable, and I am so grateful, and this has turned into something beyond even my wildest expectations, and I will always remember all of you and all of this. So thank you so much. I love you all so much, and yeah, so there's my
We still have one episode left, and I'm gonna cry.
I'm just gonna start
This has
bawling.
been like months long. Like, I lived in Florida when this started. I am not in Florida anymore.
Neither
yeah.
of us are.
I'm the creative director here at TTRP Theater. We have all kinds of fun, interesting, different stuff going on all the time. So please check out the YouTube channel. If this isn't the show for you, there is a show for you, I promise. We have silly stuff in Renaissance City, which is a superheroes game that I run. We have some really great D&D 5e games between D&D DT and Land of Dark Dreams. The Pathfinder 2e game is amazing. Scald's Tale is just fantastic. Just what a tremendous group that that Rondo has put together. It's so check it out. Please do all the likes, subscribes, all those fun things. Happy birthday, Curtis. Big ups to the man himself, yes, who brought this whole thing together, who said, okay, so I found this game. It's called KULT Divinity Lost. What do you think? It's a horror thing. Let's play it. And we went, yeah, okay, sure.
Curtis, thank you. I know I was so scared to step into a new system, but I'm so glad I did.
It was very scary all the way through. And thank you, Duke. I appreciate that. A great segue too. It was, and I was just talking to one of our new KULT fans just the other day, and he was like going on about how he was enjoying it, and I was like, well, we're really enjoying it too. And the most impressive, better every time. And when you watched episode 1, you were literally watching episode 1 for all of us. We had never played the game before, and you can see that in how we stumble through the rules, and we weren't even that great at streaming back then, so some of the streams actually look kind of like shit. If you ask me, I go back and watch, and it's almost, I'm like, oh my god. And so we've made huge improvements every step of the way, every little stream that we do, and not just in KULT. I've made new improvements even to Land of Dark Dreams. Someone just the other day said, hey, you did something new to the overlays, didn't you? And I said, yes, I did do something new to the overlays. And so we are always improving, and that's what gives me hope about what we do here at TTRP. Thank you, Duke. And what you're saying is that this is our first KULT game, and that's what I think is just so special about it, that we all love it so much, and I can only hope that they are just as impactful and get bigger and better from here, because we have more KULT planned for the future at TTRP, as well as some other new games too. I got a message just in the last couple of days from another publisher who wants us to play another game. So we are looking at learning all sorts of new systems. So that's a new, fun, exciting challenge for all of us. But the one that we played tonight, and our favorite here at TTRP, it's becoming a little bit of a in-house rivalry between us and our very talented role players over at Land of Dark Dreams with Beth. And that's the other thing, before I forget, because I've thought about this while Duke was saying what he was doing, is that we have fumbled our way through. And what makes this so special, Duke, is that we've found the talent. And that's the one thing I told you about when we started this. I was like, we're going to fumble through with a whole bunch of different games, but if we can sift it down and find the best of the best out of this that we may actually start to entertain some people, and we have done that, just not with this group of my core group of friends here in the Cult game, but the group that Beth has brought together, and the group that King Ginger has on Mondays, and your other group that you have on Tuesday nights, and the fabulous Pathfinder group that we do on Thursday afternoons. Those are all fantastic role players. So yes, if Cult is not your thing, why have you hung around to watch us all the way to this end of the show? And go check out our other streams, because those are great too. But this one is Cult Divinity Lost by Homegast, so I'm going to give them their due plugs. You can go to cultdivinitylost.com and start playing as soon as you get a group together. Thanks also to Roll20 for being a virtual tabletop. But nobody got to see my beautiful map. I did show the players just now of my handy dandy vampire strip club. The Roll20 has the character sheets for both the third edition of the original Cult game as well as the fourth edition Divinity Lost, so check that out. A huge thank you to Coag for giving me a huge new selection of background music and tabletop audio. Those are really the only two that I'm using these days. I have gone through a whole bunch of different music for this particular show, and finally, now that I've reached the end of it, I have settled on some music that I like, and it's over. So I'll have to start this process all over again for Long Strange Trip. Tabletop audio was the one you had mentioned to me earlier, Duke. Was that the one I needed to mention?
Yes.
For some reason, I got my notes wrong. Go to our YouTube page. I know the others have mentioned it, and subscribe. I've talked about it too. It's important to me. It's free, and it helps more cult fans like you find cult fans like us. Like and follow on Facebook and Twitter, like they've already mentioned, and please join our Discord server before Izzy goes absolutely insane. Our Discord champion. I'm trying to find a competitive way to shout out the Discord thing, but Izzy's got it for now. He is our the belt holder, as it were, for Discord. If you'd like to help us keep doing this, the best way, like I always say, is through word of mouth, and always be watching or listening. Even if you can't tune in, it's great to listen to in the background. If you want to help get in on the build, visit our Patreon site. It is improving, and we have just started building our setting up for our first Patreon only game. It is not going to be a streamed game. This is just for fun, for the people who pay to watch us do our thing to come play with us. And I'll bring in stars from shows occasionally to play roles, and just a fun way to pay back those who help pay us and keep us afloat. So check out Patreon if that is of interest to you. Links to all of this is down below. I lost my place. Our goal has always been story first at TTRP, stories that are appealing, and even more importantly, interesting characters that change and develop, like Sasha has over the course of all of our episodes. And to I thought somebody was frozen there for a second. I'm rushing. Stories that are appealing, interesting characters, develop a story, unfolds, blah, blah, blah. All of us, all of our game masters and players, like I've mentioned it already, because now I'm starting to get sentimentally rambly, have done a fantastic job executing our mission during all of this startup season. We've made some mistakes along the ways, and I'm starting to realize that this may need to be cut down a little bit. But I want to thank all of you who have been supporting us along the way, all of our Patreons and the publishers who aren't afraid to work with little startups like us, specifically Helmcast and Magpie Games, who are helping push our shows as well. Thanks. And Paizo. I want to give a shout out to Paizo too, who does Pathfinder, because our contacts there have worked. They actually started following us on Twitter, I noticed today. So shout out to Paizo. And thanks and love to all of you. I hope that our new stuff we have in production for 2020 is going to be just as good as this show has been. And to wrap up, I'd like to give our final shout out to each of you, the ones who watch, the ones who help pay the bills, the ones who help create, the ones who help perform, you guys that are twiddling your thumbs on camera now, and all of you who support independent creative work. This is a new format of storytelling, as I always say, a new format of performance, and your support, whether it's eyeballs or tweets or money that we desperately need. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching, and from all of us here at the theater to all of you out there, we say good night, sweet dreams, and we love you.
Good
Night,
Night,
I love
sweet
you so
dreams,
much.
we love
Night,
you.
dreams. I love
Good night.
you.
Now I'll hit the right button.